They say the scariest monsters aren't born, they're made. But what if you were there to watch that transformation unfold? What if you stood helplessly while cities collapsed, people turned into things, and the world began to rot from the inside out? Welcome to Resident Evil, a series not just about survival, but about what survival costs. Behind the blood and body horror are characters dragged into nightmares, not because they chose to be heroes, but because no one else was left. On VerseByte, we don't just break down stories, we dissect them. Today we revisit 6 of the most defining Resident Evil titles. Not just the plot, but the people, their pain, and the psychological ruin they walk through. This is survival horror in its purest form. We begin in a mansion. Resident Evil 1996. Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, STARS. What started as a missing persons search in the Arklay Mountains ends in unspeakable horror. A mansion with locked doors, broken typewriters, and the sound of claws behind every corner. This was the game that taught us fear in 3D. But beneath the clunky controls and eerie silence, a story of betrayal unfolded. Albert Wesker, team captain, trusted ally, was the traitor all along. The Umbrella Corporation was behind it, biological weapons disguised as research, an outbreak disguised as an accident. Chris and Jill weren't just fighting monsters, they were fighting an ideology, one that viewed human life as expendable. Every step forward in that mansion was laced with paranoia, every save felt earned, and when the mansion exploded at the end, it wasn't victory, it was survival, stained with loss. Resident Evil 2, 1998. The nightmare didn't end, it spread. Raccoon City, Leon Kennedy arrives for his first day on the job, wide-eyed, optimistic, and walks into hell. Claire Redfield, just trying to find her brother. Neither of them were supposed to be heroes, but in a world that's falling apart, heroism becomes necessity. There's something beautiful about Resident Evil 2, the way it balances chaos with compassion. Claire bonding with Sherry Birkin, an abandoned child. Leon slowly shedding his innocence, even as he clings to his morality. Then there's Ada Wong, the ghost in the machine. A woman with her own agenda, yet tied to Leon by a connection neither fully understands. Her lies, his loyalty. It's tragic, really. Meanwhile, William Birkin, the scientist who injected himself with the G virus, and becomes a grotesque metaphor for obsession. He didn't want power, he wanted control, and it cost him everything. By the end, the city burns, but its ashes remain in the hearts of everyone who walked through it. Resident Evil 3, Nemesis, 1999. Imagine escaping a nightmare, only to be hunted by the consequences. Jill Valentine returns, not as a rookie, but as a survivor. And yet, she's not safe, because something is following her. Not just any monster, Nemesis. Where Resident Evil 2 gave us fear through atmosphere, RE3 gives us fear through pursuit. The Nemesis is relentless, hulking, inescapable. Every appearance is a jump scare, every encounter a panic attack. But Nemesis is more than a monster. He represents Umbrella's need to silence survivors, to erase witnesses, to destroy the few people who know the truth. Carlos Oliveira steps in as a new face, a mercenary with a conscience. He isn't flashy, but in a collapsing city, his kindness stands out like a flare in the dark. Jill's infection and recovery symbolize more than plot mechanics. They reflect the psychological scars from the mansion incident. Her strength isn't just physical, it's emotional. She refuses to give up. Even when her world crumbles around her, Raccoon City dies, but Jill lives, and in doing so, she carries the truth forward. Resident Evil 4, 2005. This was a turning point. Leon Kennedy returns, no longer the fresh-faced rookie. He's hardened now, confident, but beneath the surface, you can tell he's still haunted. His mission is simple: rescue the president's daughter from a remote European village. But the horror he finds, anything but simple. The infected villagers, the Ganados, aren't mindless. They speak, they plan, and when they die, they scream. The Las Plagas parasite is more terrifying than the virus. It controls from within, no decay, no groaning, just humans hijacked. Leon is forced to adapt. The combat is faster, the decisions deadlier. Every encounter feels like it could be his last, and then Ada Wong returns. Their relationship is a dance of secrets. She saves him, betrays him, saves him again, and Leon, he never truly stops trusting her. By the end, Ashley is safe. The world is once again on the brink, and Leon walks away, a little more broken than before. Resident Evil 5, 2009. We follow Chris Redfield to Africa, to the roots of it all. This is where the virus was born, where Umbrella's sins began. And Chris, he's chasing ghosts. His partner now is Sheva Alomar, skilled, grounded, and forced to carry the burden of Western mistakes in her homeland. Together they uncover a new bioweapon, a new outbreak, but the same old villain, Wesker. Chris's relationship with Jill is central here. Her death, or what he believes is her death, fuels his rage. He's no longer the idealist from RE1. He's a soldier, a man clinging to purpose. And when he finds Jill, alive but brainwashed, the pain is raw. She fights him, and he can't fight back. Wesker, now mutated and godlike, is the embodiment of Umbrella's hubris. His downfall isn't just a victory, it's a funeral for everything Umbrella stood for. Chris and Jill escape, but they don't smile, because winning doesn't erase the cost. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, 2017. And now we come full circle. Gone are the soldiers, the global stakes, the action set pieces. We return to horror, real horror. Ethan Winters isn't a fighter, he's a husband, a man searching for his missing wife. What he finds is the Baker family. The house is more than a setting, it's a character. Creaking, rotting, suffocating. Every hallway groans, every room smells of mold and madness. Jack Baker, the father, unkillable, unstoppable, a twisted parody of patriarchal protection. Marguerite, the mother, infested with insects and religious mania. Lucas, chaos incarnate. But none of them chose this. They were victims too, turned into monsters by Eveline, a failed bioweapon in the body of a little girl. Mia, Ethan's wife, is part of it, and so is he. Slowly, Ethan's humanity begins to slip, but unlike others, he never loses hope. His love for Mia is what pulls him through, what saves them both. And maybe that's the true heart of Resident Evil, that even in the face of unimaginable horror, love survives. These 6 titles aren't just horror games, they're character studies. They explore trauma, loyalty, corruption, and the fragility of the human mind under pressure. Resident Evil isn't about zombies, it's about people, about the ones who survive, and the pieces they leave behind. Thank you for watching VerseByte. If you made it this far, you're not just a fan, you're a survivor. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and let us know in the comments which Resident Evil story shook you the most. This is only the beginning, because in this world, fear never dies.